show that's going to air this Sunday, the first Sunday in January. And I am excited to have Pastor Daisy Henry and Reverend Elijah Emmanuel on the show. So we're going to talk a little bit about the history of Bunnell and things that are going on. So we're going to go right in. And my camera's a little messed up because I think I got a crack on it somewhere, but that's all right. We are here to listen anyway. Thank you guys. Happy New Year.
You are now tuned in to Today with Pastor Jay on WNZF News Radio, where we discuss inspiring and informative news. And now here's your host, Pastor Jerlyn Denny.
Good morning. Good morning. Happy New Year. It is 2024 and woo, I'm so glad I made it over. That is the truth. New year, new attitude, new everything. You know, God doesn't operate on a calendar. There's no calendar with him, but he does have seasons. And I am just grateful that in this season and in every season that he blesses me. And I'm super excited to have two highly esteemed guests in the studio this morning. And that would be Pastor Daisy Henry and Reverend Elijah Emmanuel from the City of Bunnell. We're going to be talking about that. And, you know, Black History Month is next month. But I keep telling you guys, I'm blackity black, 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 especially on February. But today I'm blackity black, but every month I'm black, but sometimes I'm a little bit extra. And I want to talk about the black community, black issues. Yeah, I keep saying black, 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 because guess what? I'm black. Y'all laughing. Uh, so Pastor Daisy, you've been born and raised. Reverend Elijah, were you born and raised in the City of Bunnell as well?
No, I was born in St. Augustine.
You were born in
Yeah.
St. Augustine. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So how long have you lived in the City of Bunnell?
Um, all my life.
Okay. So you were born there, but
Yes.
been
Yeah.
raised.
They just rushed me back to Bunnell.
They rushed you back. So before there was a Palm Coast, and before, I mean, they had the beach there, and I'm sure there was an established little city there. The City of Bunnell has always been like the heartbeat of the county. This is where the county seat is. This is everything that's going on. And over the years, I'm just excited to hear about what you have seen progress within the city and within the county. My grandmother just celebrated her 95th birthday. And I'm going, wow, the wisdom that she has, the things that she has seen. And you guys were here from the very beginning of your life, of the transitions and stuff that has happened in Bunnell. So let me ask you, when you look at the Black community as a whole, the church, both of you are pastors, the church has always been the centerpiece of the struggle
Right.
of the Black community. It has
Yes.
always been a centerpiece of every advancement, every accomplishment and achievement. There was always the Black church that was
Right.
there. What I'm noticing with it being 2024, just that type of godly influence, the church, is it me or is it just not there anymore?
Is it? Go ahead, Pastor.
No, it's not there. And to be honest, it's sad because when I was coming up, I tell this story all the time that every church that was in Bunnell, all you had to do was look at the parking lot on Sunday morning, and the parking lot would be filled. But it's not like that anymore. And as far as community involvement, we don't have a lot of pastors that are actually getting involved in it. And I think that's where we're lacking, because if we had more participant as far as pastors, showing up to meetings and voicing their opinion and things like that, it could be it could be a lot better.
I've heard stories about how several of the restaurants in the City of Bunnell, that the Blacks weren't able to eat inside the restaurant, that you just went up to the window. I don't recall that or remember that in my time, but you recall it in your time, Pastor Daisy. So tell me that experience from then till now.
Not only the restaurants, you had like the drugstore, you had the little grocery stores back then, but you couldn't go in the front. You always had to go in the back door, even for your bars or whatever. As a child, I remember that. And we had we had a restaurant called the Dixiana, Malphas, and Bunnell Restaurant at that time, uh, and uh, and the Chicken Pantry at that time. And so a lot you had to go to the window, place your order, and even for well, they got something that we started to see in the Bimini bar. You always have to drive by and walk up and get your liquor and leave. You couldn't go in to the bars or anything else. And that's just a child. And then as I grew up, I saw changes. And then, like I said, but we always had a black bar, and we always had our black restaurants that we would go in, and because you had well, a lot of the things now is torn down. We had restaurants right on the main drag on US 1 from the Drain Street up to the canal. And Rogers Store was a great influence there because he had a store, he had a liquor store, and we could get food there. So
When you think about the civil rights movement and things that have progressed over the years, do you believe we've overcome some things, or in the city of Bunnell, just particularly, or Flagler County, do you think we're still in the same place?
Well, if I tell it like I feel it,
Tell it like you feel it.
we're not that much advanced. We're not. Because when she was talking about, it was just certain places that we can go that we have to go on at the back door. I went to a eating establishment about, I guess about 12, 15 years ago. And at the back door, they will always have a sign, color only. And that color only sign just came down.
It just came down?
Yeah,
About
and
10,
about 10,
10,
15 years ago. Yes.
Wow.
And so, and every time I go to that place, I always look at remembering where it was. And we've progressed a lot.
Or just look and see if they put the sign back up.
Well, it just actually stays in my mind every time I look at that place, and I remember where it was. And even like I said, we've progressed a lot in certain areas, and that's the areas that I'm talking about is somewhat the freedom to go to different places without restriction.
Okay.
Because when we was in Bunnell and she spoke about the canal, that was a borderline for us that we wasn't welcome across that canal at one point. And even when the high school was playing their football games at the stadium at Edwards Park, we used to have to stand on the south side of the canal just to watch the game.
Wow. Did you guys, now, I don't know if you know this, and maybe you do. I'm not telling you anything, but I was even told that there's a division to this day with 100 being like that canal. Like there's one side of the city of Bunnell, and then there's another side of the city of Bunnell. What do you believe? What?
Well, I was too young to notice that.
You're too young.
Yes.
I'm talking about right now.
right now,
Right now.
Oh, I don't know too much about that, to be honest.
well, for me, as like I said, I was a ex-city commissioner, whatever, and
That's right. You was
City
a former
commissioner.
city commissioner.
and as not for like I say such a dividing line, but it's a difference
It's a difference.
between from where the drugstore is and the public housing.
Okay.
And anything on south side of that. It's a difference. To me, as today, and like I say, I was born and raised here, there's a difference between the caring of the blacks and the caring of the whites. And even today, we are monitored. I'm really upset about the monitoring that they have put on the south side. To me, there's no privacy for the blacks. But crime is all over the
Right.
county, but they're targeting that area, and I speak frankly about that. And even for the public housing, they got cameras over that. They would even talk about one time about closing Martin Luther King Street up at a certain point, And so I went to the board and argued about that. So right now, it's not in the progress, but they were talking about it.
Closing the streets down?
One street,
One
yeah,
street.
Martin Luther King at Anderson and Martin Luther King going back to the office there. And it's the housing authority property, but it's a city street. So far they haven't closed it down.
But there's been recent talks for that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
all right. Well, we got to take a break. Don't go anywhere. Don't touch that dial. You're listening to Today with Pastor Jay.
It's a lot that's going on that people don't understand, don't know.
Okay. All right. We're going to talk about that when we come back from the break. You ready? Just make sure, Pastor Daisy, when you speak in the microphone so that way he doesn't have to
Okay.
raise your voice. All right. Thanks. Welcome back. Welcome back. You're listening to Today with Pastor Jay, and I have Pastor Daisy Henry and Reverend Elijah Emmanuel, and we're just talking about their experiences then and now in the city of Bunnell. Like I said, county seat before the city of Palm Coast was ever here, it was always Bunnell. There was a black school, which is the George Washington Carver High School there. Things were different.
Right.
And this is where you were born and raised.
Right.
And just recently there were talks about shutting down a street. I have not heard talks of them trying to shut down any other street. So you feel as though you're being targeted because those are just different standards kind of thing.
Other demographics.
Oh, right. Mm-hmm.
Blacks, you know, talking about, and it's just like the South Side is targeted in a lot of areas for crime, and it's not. The truth needs to be told, and a lot of stuff is hidden. That a lot of like a paper trail. There's lies and stuff that's going out. That and in so many rooms that we as blacks don't want no whites. You can't say that because if you look at our public housing.
I've heard that that particular community over there don't want whites over there.
That's a lie. That's a lie because even in my family, I have mixed racial couples. So I know, and a lot of other people have racial mixed marriages or whatever. And you can look at the public housing, whites buying houses next door. So you can't say black. You got to say multicultural. So you got
So Bunnell is very multicultural now,
and we are
very
friendly.
Friendly and welcoming to everyone. But you feel as though you're being targeted as a black community.
Yes, because it's so many things that, in my opinion, so many things that, as a child, that I've seen that is not lining up for how the compassion of the people supposed to be for one another. But now, for living in Bunnell, if you can't live in Bunnell, you can't live nowhere because there's a lot of concern and love, and the people try to see about one another. And this is what they say is growing more and more departed. It's leaving that.
It's moving away from that.
Yeah.
That community family feel is starting to infiltrate the city of Bunnell.
Yes.
And why do you think that is?
Well,
Is it because different people moving in, or it's an intentional change, intentional attempt to change the community?
well, change is going to come now. We know that change is going to come. We have to accept that. But then for the things, the way a lot of things, the way we are treated, even in our children, even to bring about the Carver Gym, different things is happening there. And so, I just see so much that where the kids are not being, and they say they are, is not treated fairly. And that's my concern, the kids, because they are our future.
Right.
And like I say, they need a legacy, and there's no Black history being taught about us, and we were needed back there from day one.
Well, how about the history of the George Washington Carver School? I mean, just history about the community. I can barely find anything. I've gone into the museum in Flagler Beach. I mean, unless it has changed. Did you know that there isn't one picture of a Black person in the museum in Flagler Beach at all? And I've questioned about that. I've said, why? I mean,
I can believe it.
I'm sure, we built something, contributed something, lived something, or whatever. There's nothing in the museum in Flagler. So you walk through there, you look at the picture, you look at everything, you see nobody. I don't see anybody that look like me. I'm going, what in the world?
When it comes to knowing what our accomplishments are and were, during those days and even now. I feel that if other ethnic groups or whatever listen to what we have accomplished, not only in Flagler County, but in America as a whole, the more you know our accomplishment, then I feel that we will be more accepted. And that's why I feel that it's just certain history that don't want to be told because you don't want to know that we are people and we're creative.
So as long as you're
You
not
don't
being
know our
heard,
accomplishment,
don't know your story, then they don't have to deal with it.
we're gonna always be separate. So they need to know exactly what part we played in Flagler County because Bunnell is part of Flagler County. And even as far as the schools are concerned, when we was back there, yeah, we had our own thing. We was a family, and that's what the community is about. It's about family, and we take care of our own. And so if anyone come down there that is not of us, yes, we're concerned because in the days past when you come down there, every time you come down there, it's something that you want.
Or to look good. I remember churches used to just come, they would target Bunnell. They'd come to Bunnell to kind of hand out food and clothes, and they do that, take a couple of pictures, and they leave. And they never come back, not concerned about the community, not concerned about anything. And I recall when I first started working within the city of Bunnell, so this has nothing to do with the color of your skin, because I was treated like an outsider too. Like, okay, here comes somebody. What's she going to do? But the long, and I remember you encouraging me, Pastor, just saying, hey, just keep on coming, keep on showing up. People will see your heart. People will see your heart, and you become part of the community, which I'm so grateful and thankful for. But Pastor Henry, you were on the city council. You worked in the jails.
Right.
You did a ton of stuff, a lot of things. And then all of a sudden, I don't remember, but I recall it being a paid position, and you didn't get pay.
No, I was the first black woman to apply for the job for chaplain for the Flagler County Jail. I used to go to the old jail.
Right.
And I was there before Bruce Laurent was. And after Bruce Laurent left, then the position came up. Then nobody else wanted the position until they found it was a paid salary.
Oh, okay.
Then we went for the interview, and everybody, by me being there all that time, because I used to go in and sit with the inmates and stuff like that, and pray, and have church, whatever. And everybody thought I was gonna get the position, but then the mega church.
Okay.
See, and that's what's happening. The greed
The greed.
and the pride. So the mega church come in. So I just said, well, and then they wanted to try to get me as a rubber stamp because I'm a minority and a woman.
A token.
Come on
You,
now,
you
a
check
token.
You check a couple of boxes.
Yeah,
You're a woman and you're a woman of color.
Yep,
Okay.
Yep. And so I found out I was just used as a token. And so I just came out of the ministry. See, and I was the first woman to go into that jail ministry before Bruce Laurent was.
Do you believe that in today's society, or I should say in relation to Bunnell, Flagler County, that you're treated equally, that you're heard? I mean, I know both of you have gone to school board meetings, city council meetings to represent the interest of the community, not your own interests. And you've been so selfless in that. And I want to thank you for doing those things. But do you believe you're being heard and taken seriously about the concerns when you bring them?
No, I really don't think so, because if we was taken serious, then you will see a lot of changes. And so it hurts because you're pouring out your heart and want them to see and feel what you feel. And when they just listen and let whatever you say go out the other ear gate, you don't see a change.
Don't see a change, and then you're not even invited to the table for conversation.
Yes.
Yeah, we got to take a break. Don't go anywhere, guys. Don't touch that dial. You're listening to Today with Pastor Jay. did I do?
No,
We're recording.
I was telling her when we walk out of
Pow. Oh, how much time do we have on this show?
About 3 minutes.
Okay, you ready? Oh, we don't have a whole lot of time. We're gonna go back in talking about how you're not being received. I'm just gonna touch a little bit about the ILA, not to discuss the ILA, but just how you weren't on the committee. There was no community representation and the community center. So good. Okay, you ready? Welcome back. Welcome back. We'll give a shout out and a thank you to Steve Verrier, the Florida Mortgage Center. Thank you for sponsoring Today with Pastor Jay and Church and Rock for sponsoring my show. There's something going on right now. I mean, the ILA is going on, the interlocal agreement between the county and the school board. And, you know, the George Washington Carver Foundation has something to do with that, right? The foundation was created to preserve the interests of the Black community, to teach the Black community about the history, and it's a great thing. But as they're doing in the City of Bunnell also, but at the very start, they were talking about, they meaning the school board, the county, the City of Bunnell Police Department, or the City of Bunnell rather, they're discussing issues about your community, and you weren't even invited to the table. I mean, come on, Reverend Elijah, what is that?
Well, to be honest, this is nothing new to us.
Okay.
And when I came into to be the director of Carver Center, I always had this saying that everything that we can use informational wise, it always get to us late. So communication never was there for us. And by the time we get it, it's a little too late. They've already had the meetings and everything, but once they present it to us, our hands are tied. It's already planned out, it's already signed, and it's actually forced down our throat. But what I would like to know is, how do you feel going into another community that you know nothing about and want to spread your wings and your authority and take whatever is left for us away from us?
And when you say
How
us,
can-
we're just
how
talking
can-
about the community,
Yeah,
just
so-
the people that live there, the people that reside there.
how can
No
you-
voice, no nothing.
How can
no
you
input.
get up? How can you get up every morning and thank God for your life
You can't.
and still be nasty, disrespectful to a community when you don't know anything about? And all you
Or
have
don't
to
and
do,
don't even know the needs of the community.
and the question
No.
is, you don't want to know, because now you know about it, and you still haven't came down to see exactly what you're taking away from us.
And every time that we get a representative, it's only when they come down only for the voters thing. Vote for me, I'll do this, I'll do that. And when I went to a lot of meetings, county, school board, whatever, and we don't have any representation. And it's sad to say, even there's the people working in our district, some of the negative vibes that they feed back to us, like the Blacks are ignorant and unlearned. We got lawyers, doctors, teachers.
And we have
Come
a
on now, come
superintendent too now.
Come on now.
That's
See,
sitting there.
So I'm just saying that we know how to read and write now. You know, you see what I'm talking about? And,
Right.
and you got your cell phone, you can go in there and speak to the thing
Right.
and just say what it got to say. You can look for what you want to know.
Right.
But then they just feel that they're supposed to shove things down the Black's throat. And they've been doing it for years. And my heart go out, because you haven't walked a mile in my shoes. I've seen a lot of things, and it hurts me when a board can sit there and make judgment on one part of the county and can't make a judgment on the whole county.
Well, I want to thank you guys. We're going to have to do a part 2 to this, because this is a lot. Thank you so much for speaking from your heart. I love you, and I'm praying for you, and I am with you. All right, guys, we're going to have to do this again. We got to do a part 2 to this show, because there's so much to do. And I want to thank you for listening. But you know what I say? Yesterday's gone. Tomorrow's not promised. What are you going to do today? Go to the City of Bunnell and just start knocking. That's what I do. I knock on doors and meet some people and do some things like that. God bless you. Have a wonderful day. because we'll do a part 2 right now.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, let's go. Ready?
You are now tuned in to Today with Pastor Jay on WNZF News Radio, where we discuss inspiring and informative news. And now here's your host, Pastor Jerlyn Denny.
Good morning, good morning. Wake up and good morning. And it is part 2. Part 2, I have Pastor Daisy Henry and Reverend Elijah Emmanuel just talking about continuing their thoughts and how they feel, what they believe, and this is based on your experiences. See, that's the thing. People don't understand because they haven't experienced, and that's something all of us can learn. All of us speak from our own personal experiences, the things that we've learned, the things that we have lived. Doesn't mean that one side is better than the other, one side right than the other, but we've got to come together and go, okay, wait, I want to hear what you have to say, and together we can do something about it. On our last show, we were talking about not having a voice, believing that the boards, meaning the Flagler County Board of County Commissioner, which, by the way, I always say, hey, the money that they spend, the things they do, that's taxpayer money.
Yes.
You know, we elect them to represent us in every area within the county. Same thing with the school board and all these other areas where they're elected officials, that they should represent the interests of everyone, right?
Yes.
And when you don't feel like you're being heard, it causes a burden on your heart. Is this how it was 50 years ago, 60 years ago? I mean, I'm looking at the fight where all of you, and not that I'm not calling you old, but you're a little, you're a little older than
Yes,
me.
I am.
But where are the young ones? I'm grateful that I can stand on your shoulders, right? And when I look at people in my generation, there's few far in between. When I look at my children, no one's fighting. It's like a diluted civil rights movement in a way. I don't know how to explain it any kind of way.
Well,
Where everybody at?
well, before they tore the original old black school down, I had a conversation with the county commissioners. At that time, was Chairman James Darby, and Sam Trivet was on the board. And we had, as a concerned citizen, we had went to the board to tell them not to tear the school down. We could save it for whatever. And my son and some more young people at that time, Harold, okay, he got up to address the board. And him and Chairman Darby got into a regular conversation off the beat. And so he was asking, where are the other young people at? And my son say, I'm here because of my mom and concerned about y'all tearing down old black history. And so they dialogue back between one another. And he was amazed that my son was so well educated. Not only him, he said, it's plenty of us on the South Side. And then we have, if you look back at over history, you have a lot of black kids have come out and went beyond. But we are not being recognized. They are not being recognized for what they put in to Flagler County. A lot of them moved away because of the way the things are in this little county. You'll never get ahead. It's a cousin of a cousin. It's not what you know, it's not what you know, it's who you know. The system is messed up because you don't have, back then you have to have no degrees or nothing in any kind of job, because if I know you, I get you in the job.
You think it's that way now?
In some areas, yes. Yes, it is. Right now in some areas. And a lot of our black kids are not even getting a chance to come in qualify for these jobs. See, because they're saying that they don't know. They don't even know what we know.
They don't know what you know. Won't even look
And
at the
then,
application.
and then you have to look at it. It just seems like every door that you knock on don't never open for you. So if it never opens, then it makes you feel a certain type of way.
Yeah.
Why am I knocking on the door when I know it's not going to be open? And so, as far as the generation of new leaders, they're here. And how I know they're here, because I met one not met one, but I uh, saw one when I was at the basketball game last Tuesday, and it's a couple of more that are being raised here, and how they're doing it is they're paying attention to the older,
Right.
the elders of the community. What are you doing? How are you doing it? What type of voice you have about this and about that?
So there is
It-
a pocket. There
yes,
is
so
some
they
hope.
yes, because a young man was telling me the other night. He said that I paid attention to what you were doing in the community,
That's good.
how you was trying to be there for kids that didn't have father figures, and he said, and I was one of them. And he said, so I'm planning on trying to get back here.
That's good. If there's a back here, man, we
Yes.
gotta.
Yeah,
Yeah.
If the back
Get-
here is still
yes.
here.
Yeah, I'm trying to get back here so that I will be able to implement what I saw you doing. And then there's a young man here right now, but his hands are tied. And the same thing.
Right.
Want to be leaders, but sometimes we get ourselves in a position that we can hurt ourselves. And so when we hurt ourselves, then it takes a little time before you'll be able to branch out.
You know, people will say, "Oh, that's not real." I mean, when black people just complaining. That's not true.
Yeah.
You know, I say this from experience, and it's not just in Bunnell or any other area, but my one of my sons, 23 years young, very well educated, been to school his whole entire life, has 3 degrees, holds an MBA, applying for jobs. And he, you know, they okay, here's one, give you a couple of dollars type thing. And he's like, no, I'm worth more than that. This is what he's thinking to himself. He knows he's worth more than that because that's what we've instilled in him. Could not get the job that paid him well. And one day he called me all excited. He got the job, got this particular job, and I was excited for him. But you know what he did? And it broke my heart. I just sat there and bawled. He had a thought. He changed a box and checked that he was white instead of black. And he said, Mom, I felt some kind of way about it because I felt like I was lying. I said, no, you know, you half white. You can check the white box. Your dad's white. Your mother's black. Check the white box. Not only did he get the job, he didn't even get an interview. And I'm talking to him on the phone going, do they know that that you have black when you go there? You may get there and they say, oh, we made a mistake. Seriously, this is what I'm thinking because he didn't even get an interview. They just went off of his resume. That's how impressive it was and all the accomplishment and things that he had. And now he's head of human resources at 23 years old over an entire airport because he clicked the box that said he was white when he could barely get a job when he was black.
Listen, when I was at Carver, I noticed that during the summer that you had a lot of white kids that was working, that was in school and had a summer job. But for some reason, our kids didn't have it.
Did they apply?
The,
So it's a
the
program.
thing, the thing is they applied, but they were never chosen.
Were they
And
qualified? I mean, is this just
No, this is high school students
right? So
trying
everybody.
to work to fast food or whatever to make money to get off the streets in the summer. And they used to come and say, Mr. Sugarpot, we can't find a job.
Can't
And
find
I
a
say,
job.
why? He said, I don't know. We done applied for them, but we don't never get a call back. So
But
I made
My
it
white counterpart got the
Yeah.
job.
Yeah.
So I made it my business to go to certain business establishment and beg them to give our kids a chance to work during the summer.
So they could have a job.
And so right here, the windows right next door,
Okay.
it was a black manager that was there. And I was telling him about what my problem was. Now I done went to about 4 or 5 of them in the county. And so he was the only one that decided to give them a job.
Wow.
And he
Wow.
said, when they come and fill out the application, all they have to do is say that they came from Carver.
Wow.
And he said, and then he'll pay attention to the application, and then that's how they begin to get jobs
That's
there.
how they began to get jobs.
And
Because
so,
you went in.
yeah,
And this is
and-
after you begging all over. Then
Yeah,
you found.
and the thing is I went to one further down, and I talked to the manager, and they were white, and when I was telling them, yeah, send them. So when I sent them to go and apply for it, they still didn't call them back.
You
So
know,
the question is, you want to say that our kids are lazy.
right.
So they're not lazy. You're not even giving them a chance.
Well, you know, I always say, you know, we all have the same opportunities. The sign says help wanted, apply within, but we all don't have the same privileges. And on that note, let's take a break. Don't go anywhere. Don't touch that dial. You're listening to Today with
You are
Pastor Jay.
now
That's okay. Want me to say it over?
Yeah, no, just we're taking a break.
Okay. We're going to take a break. Don't touch that dial. You're listening to Today with Pastor Jay.
One of I think he was the assistant administrator over, what you call that, for the kids, the family. Anyway, it was one of those family, and it was state ran, and he got himself in some trouble. And once he got himself in some trouble, they did a background check on him. Come to find out, he's a convicted felon. He was white. And now, once they found that out, they wanted to know how he was able to get the job being a convicted felon.
Well, same opportunities, just not the same privileges.
That's right.
I still believe that a lot of times, not everywhere, but sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you know, it's just. Ooh, we gotta go. How much time I have?
About 13.
Oh, okay. So I got another break. Okay, you ready? Welcome back to Today with Pastor Jay, and again, I'm talking to Reverend Elijah and Pastor Daisy. You know, same opportunities, not the same privileges. I've seen people look at job applications and based on the name, Sarah will get hired, but Shaniqua won't, even though they look, the resumes look the same. And you've endured that. You've gone through that. You would think in this day and age, it's not a lot of that. A little bit still exists. Racism going to be here till Jesus comes. You know, it's a sin. It is. But recently, even within the city of Bunnell, the school there, the Bunnell Elementary School, they segregated the kids. I cried like a baby. I talked about it on my show for a while. And what was troubling is everyone thought it was acceptable because the teacher was Black. And the principal felt like Black people know what Black people know, that it's not a big deal, it's not an issue. But telling students that they're going to die in early grave, they're going to be shot or going to go to prison, that's not the first time. I mean, every generation that I know of so far have been told that,
Yeah.
have been told that.
Yes.
So their parents, their grandparents, and great-grandparents have been told that. So that's nothing new. Is it to the point where we believe that about ourselves too?
I heard a story one time about, I guess it was in a workshop, and they had two dolls. And you may have heard it too. They had a white doll and a black doll. And the black girl went and picked up the white doll instead of pick up the black doll. And they asked her why. Because she said that I think the white doll would get more than the black doll. See, so now if you choose your color, I mean somebody else's color over my color, that means that I don't have no self-esteem. But the self-esteem has to be instilled in our children. Sometimes, and so if you're always being put down by your peers, not in your household, but even for the job that he was saying that you can't do. But I have a saying that I taught my Sunday school, Proverbs, the seven Proverbs, and out of 10, I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. And so if we plant that in our kids' mind, no matter what somebody say, you are somebody. And even in our daily walk, when you meet somebody, tell somebody that, encourage them. I did a lot with the kids in the community, and I went and purchased a bus, and I took them every Monday night to skating center, and they right now say, Pastor Henry, Miss Daisy May, we remember when you by yourself loving us, took us to the skating center and to the movie because you cared.
What's going to happen when 100 years from now, I'm going to give y'all some more years, and you're not here? What's going to happen because you guys are pillars in the community. You're fighting for the rights of the community. You're standing in a gap. You're praying. You're instilling these principles in the children in your community, white and black students. I know you teach them all. What's going to happen? What do you see?
Well, like I stated before, if you don't know who we are, we will never be accepted. So I think that the history of who we are should be taught. And every conversation that we have, we should be able to talk about our accomplishment. Because the thing is if you never know what we've done, you will never respect us. You understand me? Because in certain cultures, they talk about what their accomplishments are. And when they do that, they narrow it down to their culture. And so that's what we have to start doing to let our kids know that they can do anything. They can be anybody that they want to be, because it doesn't happen before. If it happened one time, it can happen again. So the self-esteem, if we don't find a way to start building our community up, building our children up, and let them know how important they are in this world, then 100 years is just like it is now, if you ask me.
We talked early on the other show about the church and the role of the black church in our communities. And I know I'm seeing it everywhere. The first Tuesday of January was the first day of the prayer line for the year, and it's normally the most attended. Just like almost the first Sunday, everybody had these New Year's resolutions talking about how I'm going to change, I'm going to read my Bible, I'm going to go to church, I'm going to do that. That's not even happening anymore. In fact, it has rarely ever happened on my prayer line. And on Tuesday, the first Tuesday of the month, which was January the 2nd, I was the only one on the prayer line. Kid you not. And I'm going, what? This is the most attended day. I'm like, surely somebody has some New Year's resolution. They're going to pray. But it's not happening anymore. And I sat there and I just began to pray for the community. And there's a story about a guy that was running around in Sodom saying, repent, 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 repent. Men and women, y'all need to repent. And he kept doing it over and over and over again, picketing, holding signs, saying, repent. And this young kid came up to him and said, why are you doing it? No one's going to change. No one's going to change. Why are you still doing it? And his response was, so they won't change me. So I see you screaming in the communities, standing in the gap, going to the meetings, going door to door, trying to teach, trying to educate and support your community. And I applaud you for that. But what can we do, the community as a whole? What can we do? How do we zap them back into reality? I mean, I don't know what the answer is. What's the answer?
To me, the community need to go back where they left Jesus at.
Okay.
They have left their first love. And like I say, in my prayer time, the Lord spoke to me and told me that man men men have become complacent in their works. It's all about theirs, mine, me, y'all. What they forgot about him, and they have forgot about the Creator and worship the creature more than the Creator. And until we go back and recognize Him as Lord of Lords and King of Kings, the creator of every good and perfect gift, we'll still be lost, be running around in the wilderness, because the earth is still the Lord's and the fullness thereof. Don't care what we own or what we got. Somebody, God gave it to us. And this earth is not our home. We're just passing through. And for the raiment, for the young people, He always got somebody.
He always has somebody. He
Almighty.
just when we feel like nobody there,
Come on
there's
now.
somebody
He
there.
always got somebody. He said, I got me a people. Mm-hmm. See, I got a people. He got a people that will not bow.
Right.
He got a people that He's already ordained to succeed us.
Okay.
See, and so we don't know who it is, and we can't question God. But He always got, how you say, a ram in the bush.
He does. All right, guys, we got to take a break. Don't go anywhere. Don't touch that dial. You're listening to Today with Pastor Jay.
You can wrap it up.
Yeah. You want us to wrap it up without him?
Yeah, he let him. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. What do you want to say at the end?
Well, nothing too much. I mean, you cover a lot of bases here. If the people listening,
Mm-hmm.
cover a lot of bases, but the people need to be aware
Need to be aware.
of get more involved in their community affairs.
Mm-hmm.
See, and go to these meetings, because the word's not gonna get to you,
Mm.
and everybody don't watch Facebook
Mm-hmm. That's
or
true.
what you call this tablet. They don't
Right.
they don't go on that.
Mm-hmm.
See, so you need to go to your meeting, and we need to get the public awareness that needed face, because it's crucial times coming when this city gonna have a plan.
Right.
The city gonna have a plan.
Okay. How much time do you say I have? Okay. All right. I want to give you a thank you and a shout out to Steve Verrier, thefloridamortgagecenter.com, and Church on the Rock. Thank you for sponsoring this show. Earlier today, we were talking about before the radio show about how Black people come together or don't come together. Why do you think that? It's like you see other nationalities. If there's a fight to be fought, they all gather together.
Right, right.
On the television depicts us as a violent group. You look at what happened to George Floyd, when you look at what happened to Trayvon Martin, the television, depicts us as burning stuff down and throwing stuff every which way. That's the only time we come together, when we want to tear something up.
Not necessarily. You got a lot of people that's, how you say, is concerned, but they're, how you say, they're the people's in the background. A lot of people don't want to, how you say, come forward as the main character.
Or do you think there's still a lot of fear there?
It is because, well, if I were to just remember what my parents told me, I wouldn't be vocal like I am.
Ooh, okay.
But I've always,
What did they tell you?
whatever Mr. What's it called them say, I had to do it, and you can't talk back and all this other stuff.
Because
But
they were afraid for you.
right, my grandmother told me this. Say Daisy, say you talk real vocal. I say, well, Mama, I say I can't, Grandma, because my grandmother raised me. I said I can't. It was just something about me that I couldn't hold my peace. And I always address when somebody says something, and I'm not gonna sit to the table with liars and backbiters and all this other stuff. Yeah, I find that have to be real. And if I make a mistake, I acknowledge my mistakes, because nobody's don't wear a crown yet. But as we acknowledge it, know that we got faults, and lift one another up.
Lift one another up.
See, we need arm bearers here.
Right.
And I can say, even in my role as city commissioner, community active, preacher, whatever, I found myself in a lot of meetings a lone soldier.
Yes, you do.
But you got to have a crowd. You got to have, Moses needed somebody to hold his arms up.
Right.
We need somebody now as church people. We don't need people talk the talk. They need to walk the walk. come together in unison, and we don't realize as a black people we have power. People have told you about your rights and you get the wrong understanding. Go to somebody that they're going to explain the real deal to you. Because people will deviate you to let you go on the wrong path. And when you go on the wrong path, they say, well, she should he should have knew better.
Well, I want to thank you for your boldness in coming here today. You're not going to get shot in Flagler County.
I hope not. I hope not.
I mean, I know it's still in the back of your mind.
But I do have a camera right on my post, and every time I open my door, that camera snap.
Uh-oh. Y'all hear that? Y'all come on her front porch if you want to. That camera snap.
That's right,
You
on
come,
the post.
Yeah,
That's
you come
right.
on my front porch, something gonna snap. It's not gonna be a camera. I'm just saying. All right, guys, thank you so very much for this candid conversation. I love you both. Not a thing you can do about it. Yesterday's gone. Tomorrow's not promised. What are we gonna do today? Today, whether you're white, black, purple, green, red, or blue, we all need to come together as a community for the sake of others. So this fight that they're fighting, they need more people in it, need more people standing up. Come and do that. God bless you. Have a great day. This part, there's actually two parts to this. God bless you. Have a great day.